vacations, I can't really tell. But there's a scale that was developed, SPS 6, that was developed at Stanford actually, and which shows that you're on the job, but you're not really doing your job because you don't feel good. And hopefully we'll see, and that will be a great sell to Stanford that, hey, your employee, we know, subjectively that they were on the job more. I mean, I have one patient who was at another health system and she had asthma, and it wasn't all that bad. She had 18 ED visits in a year and missed a lot of work. She came and we did an asthma action plan, and she called me a couple of times at night, and she hasn't been admitted in 2 years.
So we have quite a few more questions. I didn't mean to break it off. Yeah.
Go ahead, and then you.
Yeah, very interesting presentation. I remember your early slides showing that you have a patient that's in and from level 1 and goes up, and it seems like going to a higher level, you get a better sleep and good health. I was wondering, do you statistically test about the drop rates? Like how many people, is it all 100% people enrolled and gets all to level 4, or there's a certain percentage going to level 4?
Okay, what percentage of the patients are at the different levels of activation 1 through 4 of your patients?
How many of them move up? Yeah.
It depends on, depends on the population. Whoops, oh, I've lost it. We were really surprised. It looked at about 40% of our patients are level 4 to start with. They can improve. It's a 100-point scale, so there's room for improvement. 55% of our patients improved, right, overall. Maybe you can find it. So the Medicare population for the Pacific Business Group on Health had about 35% were level 1 to start with. It's what you're given in your community, in your patient population. It influences the kind of care you give, and it really helps you customize both on an individual but also on a group level of the kind of support that people need. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it because your practice pattern is very interesting. I was thinking, how can we generalize your practice pattern to all the populations? The DHCS, we deal with the Medicaid, Medi-Cal population. Is your data suggesting that's going to be applied for the same, for that population? Because they're very different in terms of the sickness, in terms of the education level, in terms of the social factors.
And the sheer distribution of the patients among many, many providers, it's hard to concentrate resources like this in a very distributed model.
Right. So part of that is, there's a process, but we've developed, there's a generalizable model, which we actually have to write up. but it's looking at the population first, talking to the people about some people about their experience, looking at the claims, looking at the utilization patterns, and putting the team together in the right process. But the other, some of the elements are transferable, but the actual thing you're going to do is different. So if it's a whole lot of high homeless population, then you might want to have a lot more outreach workers. So go out and.
That's kind of
So we have time for one more question. I think.
Either Hattie or me.
Well, I think I just want you to, before you close, and I want Dr. Ertl to get his question in, but just tell people what they can do to learn more about it. Are there trainings and that sort of thing through PBGH or whatever? And maybe that's something we email out to people later, because that might be too long of a question. So Dr. Ertl?
What were your biggest 1, 2, or 3 ahas that you go, I didn't think that would make a difference, but it made a huge difference?
The empanelment for the care coordinators made a huge difference, more than I expected.
Mary, you wanted to say something, right?
Oh, I just wanted to ask about the patient advisor.
Yes.
I know that from talking with Alan before that you have patient advisors on the team, and so if you can talk more about how you select them,
right,
and what role do they play?
Our initial patient advisor got off of, I think we might advertise in Craigslist or something there, the ones we interviewed. But some of them were very interested in, they were Stanford employees, they had chronic conditions, they wanted to improve the care. And initially, they weren't all even our patients. Now it's narrowed it down to you have to be a patient, you have to be, frankly, I don't run the group patient advisory. We thought it was very important for the doctors to stay out of it. People talk differently when doctors are there. So it's a, it's a patient-led group at this point, and there are some criteria for, you gotta have, somebody who isn't a single issue person, so they'll like play along with an agenda. There is a format for patient advisors, and it turned out we set up our patient advisors, and then Stanford had this whole structure for patient advisory groups that we didn't even know about.
But they're patient advisors specifically for your program.
They were specifically for our
And
program. And they've been very important. And how do we do outreach to people? Or how do we do this? And they've suggested, for example, that we have open house so that people can come and meet our staff and see the place without signing up to be a patient. That was their idea.
How many advisors do you have?
We now have 6.
And
We've
you
had
pay
8.
They get paid?
They don't get paid.
No, they're just volunteer. Well, we have
Great.
only a few seconds. Thank you so much. This is I know there could be a lot, but would you mind sticking around, Anne, for people who might have more questions?
That's fun.
Great, thank you. And just wanted to thank you again for your interest and for your questions and your participation. Next month, oh, by the way, yes, please, for those who need CME, please complete those and turn them in. You should have CME forms in your packet. The evaluation is very important for us. Please provide us your feedback. We read all of them, and very important for us. And then finally, next month,
Dr. Ashby
Wolf. Ashby Wolf, yes, thank you. Will be coming to talk about certain measures and incentives that are being made available, both federal and state incentives, and it's going to be a really informative talk, and we're in the process of getting the clinical presentation solidified as we speak. So if you're interested in providing a presentation to Right Care, please contact Hattie or myself or Dr. Ertl and let us know your interest, and we can discuss it. Again, this is your forum, and it's very important that we respond to your needs as well, so thank you very much. Anything else before we close? All right.
Just a big thank you to Anne. That was awesome.